Welcome to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I'm Pallavi.
I'm Fizza.
I'm Zahra.
And our guest today is...
Subhah.
Yeah.
Yay, Subhah Agarwal. Is it Agarwal?
Mhm.
Okay. Wanna make sure I'm saying it right.
is a stand-up comedian. You recently moved here. You've been in and out from New York.
Yes.
And you are on a bunch of our shows. We love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're one of the originals. We love having you on. And also, you're a fellow New Yorker. Or do you consider yourself a New Yorker because you were there for so long?
I don't know. I don't know if I could ever claim it because I wasn't born and raised. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I was
Who
there.
was?
People are very angry about people calling themselves native New Yorkers.
So you're from the Midwest originally.
Yeah. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago.
Based on your set, I feel like you have the anger of a New Yorker.
I mean,
feel
you've
like
been
you
there
could-
for about 10 years, right?
I feel like you
Yeah,
could
it's
cut
like-
a bitch.
I mean, you can be there for like 6 months and you'll be
yeah,
angry.
You're like, why? I was there for like 7 years continuously, and then last year I was back and forth like half the year. So it was almost 8, and then this year I'm gonna go back every second I get, but it's probably gonna only in total end up being like 3-4 months.
So how's that working out for you in the past year? The bi-coastal lifestyle between New York and LA?
A nightmare. It's the absolute.
I thought she was going to be like, it's amazing.
I know,
was
that's
like,
what I
nope,
was expecting.
twist.
So it's like unless you're loaded and you have 2 apartments, you're essentially just a vagabond. Like I just have my shit in suitcases and in storage. My mailing address is my ex-boyfriend's apartment, which is
Boo. Ew.
So where's your ex-boyfriend? In New York?
he's in New York.
So do you have to go pick up your mail
yeah.
at his place? when
He
you go back?
normally he's actually we're really good friends. He's still my best friend. So like he's pretty chill. So he'll
So
either,
you ain't done fucking yet.
well only on my birthday and it's always a bad decision.
Oh.
So when's your birthday?
Not until January, so there's
Okay,
a while.
okay.
It's we don't work as a couple, but like we get along. But yeah, he's been pretty chill about it because he knows I don't want to move to LA, and so like my guild membership is in New York. Like he could honestly steal my identity. Like all my official addresses are his.
Your driver's license.
Is that a smarter decision for you now that since you're talking about your guild membership? Like as an actress and an entertainer, is it better or more advantageous for you to be quote unquote based out of New York, even though you spend a lot of time in LA?
Well, there's just more opportunities here. I feel like in terms of writing and acting, but in terms of stand up, the city doesn't come close unless. I guess if you've put in a ton of time into the Comedy Store and like the clubs and they know you, I guess that's one way to work your way up from the ground. And then maybe it would be kind of comparable to the low end of New York. You know what I mean?
Right. I totally
In
get
terms
it.
of stage time, but I don't like. I've already been doing stand up for 11 years. I'm not gonna like park cars at the Comedy Store. Like it's
Right.
hard when you're not successful enough to walk in to a place and have them give you a ton of stage time, but you're at this weird place where you're like, I don't know how to make you see me when they're only really looking at like new comics. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Not,
it's
not that as an Asian woman you would be bad at parking cars. Let's just make that clear.
oh, I'm the worst.
No. Oh, yeah, you just
so
got in a car
bad.
accident, right?
Oh my God.
So Easter Sunday, all the brown kids, the brown comedians in LA, we had basically an Easter brunch at an Indian restaurant, like kind of a hole in the wall. What's it called?
It's something sweet.
Yeah, Sweet House or something like that.
It is Sweet House. That's
I mean,
what it
it's
is.
great. Subhah was on her way, but jacked up her car.
Can I also say that when we posted that picture of all of us, all the Desi comedians in LA at an Indian like restaurant, someone later was like, Mike Eshak later was like, weren't you in India recently? I
my
was like,
God.
no, these are people you know.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Shout out to Mike Eshak.
We still like you anyway.
It's so funny.
Wow.
So Subhah, what happened?
Oh, it's just I ended up having to move. It was like my car got damaged because it wasn't really my fault. It was like it's like tandem parking and then like 2 cars on the front yard. And like when someone was pulling out, they scratched my car. And I was like flipping out because I didn't want to pay the insurance deductible because I wasn't sure exactly who had done it. And no one was like, oh, we did
Yeah.
it. Like no one was copping to it. So I was like, whatever, you know? Like it's just, it sucks.
High stress. Also,
Yeah.
it sucks because it's like, because you're not settled, it's like not your car.
Yeah, it's a
not your,
rental.
yeah. It's like you're just kind of caught between things.
Dang.
Wait, so I gotta go to New York for stand up? I gotta do that. That's what you're telling me? That's all I want to do.
You're saying we should all move to New York, is what you're saying.
We'll all live together at your ex-boyfriend's place.
I just feel like in terms of stand up, like in stage time and stuff like that, it doesn't compare in my mind, especially when you're starting. I don't know how people start here. Like it's gotta be. It's so hard. Like I look at the mics and stuff, like just like compared to New York to here, I'm like, it's so much better.
I don't know what happened, but they haven't made me stop doing comedy yet. So like, they just let me keep going. Yeah, I did like 3 mics in SF over the course of like 9 months, and then I moved down here and I like went hard. And I think I like was kind of lucky in that I didn't completely eat shit all the time when I started, which is common. So like that like saved me a little bit. But I don't know. Like I think if you like were completely like foreign to comedy, because I was around like improv and like I absorbed like all the podcasts, all the shows, like I knew everything about stand-ups, so I was like in the mentality of it. But I think if you're just like totally different and you start out, it's got to be so hard. I see like new comics starting out a lot, and it's got to be like tough.
I go back to New York a lot for that reason.
I leave LA at least once a month, and I go to other scenes. I go to SF, SD, Portland,
in New York,
Seattle.
you can do easily four shows a night. Like it's just like that. It's so efficiently.
That's so dope.
And like other comics will say this to me, you know, like the older ones, well, they'll be like, okay, you've spent 11 years working your ass off as a comedian. It's like now you come to LA to sell what you've created. They're like, you're in the right place, but I don't know. Like, I mean, that's why I'm here. Like, I'm writing and I'm doing stuff and whatever I can, but at my core, like, it's like outside of business. Like, at my core, like, stand-up is what makes me happy. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So constantly trying to go back for that reason.
But I see you get up every night. So
Almost. Not necessarily. Like, this week it was dry. It was like 4 or 5, and I thought I was only going to have 1, but then, like, I ended up taking a bunch of stuff last minute, and it was like... But like 4 or 5 compared to what I'd be doing in New York is like not, you know,
you
like
do 4 or 5 a night in New York. Yeah.
So it's like,
and 4 or 5 in LA is considered good.
Yeah.
So, do you have a strong opinion of LA? Because I know we talked about it briefly. I ran into you. I think
I feel like you don't have not strong opinions of everything.
I want to hear your strong opinion about Los Angeles.
I fucking hate it.
She said it.
Why do you hate it so much?
Well, because like it's number one, just I don't like the industry side of what we do, and that's what Los Angeles is. It's the industry
it's all
side.
industry.
It's a bunch of like vapid, soulless vacuums of people who've had their dreams sucked out of them and are now just like.
Welcome to the Vapid Soulless Vacuum of People podcast.
We're all empty on the inside.
Every now and then you just feel this collective sadness in the city that we're all striving for the same dream and the reality that
it's palpable. You're breathing it in right now.
But you didn't feel it in New York?
Not as much because there's a mix of more regular people. Like,
Well, okay. So I was on antidepressants when I lived in Manhattan because that city like really takes a toll on you, and so
it does. It's stressful.
At least whenever I would go get my refill at the Duane Reade, they would be out. And then, like, within a 10-block radius of all the Duane Reads and Rite Aids and Walgreens, they would all be out. That entire city, that entire island is on antidepressants.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
like,
New York is a horrible place.
That's why they're happy, because they can admit that they need antidepressants, whereas here it might mix up with the plastic surgery.
Have you tried yoga? Have you tried yoga and affirmations?
And smoking weed.
Have you just gone up Runyon Canyon and just screamed into the abyss? You don't need antidepressants.
I need all of it. I need that and the antidepressants.
Fizz is over there taking
everything.
notes right now.
What did you
Into
say? The
the
plastic
abyss?
surgery. Just, give me everything.
Dude, it's crazy. I can't.
Feed the void.
I don't feel like Hollywood like at all. Like I don't understand the mentality. People say that at network, and I'm like, I'm just loud. Like that's like I've always
That's
been that
part
way.
of Hollywood. If you're the loudest person in the room, you will win. This is why you're doing so well, Pallavi.
Yes, I'm gonna win. But like Zahra, but I don't understand
Every
it.
time you drop some, I just laugh every time Zahra says Pallavi's loud and Pallavi says Zahra likes to party.
Yeah, Fizz is just in the middle chilling.
I'm just chilling.
But like I saw
I went to
like,
a barn
Yeah, you went to a barn,
and I pet animals. I'm chilling.
That's a good day.
That's the fact today.
That's a good day.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later.
But like I saw like on Facebook there was like some chick posted about like Botox, and then all the other chicks were like, yeah, I'm gonna follow this to see like what's recommended for Botox, and I was like, you're all gorgeous. Like, what do you do? Like, I didn't realize how real it is and like how many people do all that shit.
I have friends all over the country doing Botox now. Like that's just
very
gone
crazy to me.
mainstream.
All right.
Mainstream.
Botox doesn't seem that weird to me because it seems scary, but I'm like, I could just walk in, walk out. That's not that big of it. To me, it's like when you go under a knife, that freaks me out.
Yeah, but I've seen people's faces get paralyzed.
Well, don't go to your gynecologist to get Botox. Go to like your face Botox stuff. People do that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't know shit, man.
There are dentists that are also they're certified to give you Botox. So
Wow.
But doesn't mean
I
you
thought
should.
you-
Yeah.
you were
They're not
joking.
certified to necessarily stuff a pillow. So like if they're sticking Juvederm up your lips and they don't know what they're doing, your mouth might look like a tooth.
yeah.
Oh my god.
So Subhah, you subscribe? Are you subscribe to injections, just not plastic surgery?
I would probably anything that like didn't seem like that big of a deal. Like people get face peels, I guess. Which is it, but that doesn't like anything where there's no downtime and I'm not gonna die. It doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
Subhah just doesn't want it to get in the way of her stage time.
Basically.
She's just like, I can't be under because then I won't be able to hit the shows that night. Unless you bring everybody into my room, then I'll do whatever you want. I feel that like that's like my core too. Is I just want to be on stage all the time, and the administrative stuff like bothers me that I have to do it. But I see you when I've seen you at like the store, like at other mics and stuff. When you're waiting, you're like constantly doing other shit. Like you're listening to your old sets, you're like rewriting. That's like super admirable. You're like constantly going.
Constantly working.
So I actually ran into Subhah at an audition, and we both had our own respective meltdowns after.
Yeah.
After I literally
We
went to
also
my
auditioned
car
for that later.
Oh yeah. And then
this was the day of the meltdown when we all auditioned for the same role.
So
Okay.
they auditioned first, and then like they apparently people saw our facial rec show, and then asked everyone to audition from the facial rec show. So I don't know what happened to it, but we also auditioned for that much later.
yeah.
I wonder who ended up doing it.
Probably someone with like
I don't know
3
who they
million
cast.
Instagram followers.
Can we say what the role was?
I don't think we're allowed to talk
Oh,
Yeah,
about
okay.
it.
I don't know
Yeah.
any of the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously, if we all went in for the lead, there's a certain casting they were looking for.
Yeah.
You know.
Mouthy women.
Yeah. So let's talk about this meltdown.
Yeah.
This collective meltdown between the both of you.
So I showed up when you were about to leave, and like I was sort of I was in the zone, but you seemed a little like I don't know, what were you going through when you were about to leave? I don't know if you're preoccupied.
I was more like she told me to read it in a way that didn't make sense to me. So it was like I had one read with it, and I worked with an acting coach on it, and like neither of us felt like the way she wanted it read like made sense. So it was hard for me to do what she wanted. So that was upsetting to me because I feel like I should have been more flexible, but in my head, when she was telling me to do it this specific way, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. So I couldn't do it, and I didn't take my time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask to redo it again just to try and do it her way, just to be like, screw it. But I was like, whatever,
I had to start over 8 times.
Get out.
The AC wasn't on. I couldn't breathe, so she had to go turn the AC on. Like, I literally thought that she thought I was a freak show when I left. But I ended up getting a call back.
That's awesome.
Which was nuts because I literally left. I walked to my car. I started scream crying because I couldn't believe
Screaming
that
into the abyss.
yeah, scream, but in the car. I think I punched something. I was so upset because I'd never had that experience where I coached for it, and then I kept forgetting the first sentence, and then it became this thing, and it was hot, and I don't know. I thought I fucking bombed that shit.
Do you guys feel like you've always put a lot of pressure on yourselves, like growing up, doing like school, comedy, everything?
Yeah, but this particular role was I think it was an Indian comic, a comic who was a woman who was Indian. So it's well, there was extra pressure.
Yeah, because it's essentially yourself, but you have to play yourself how the casting director sees the role. And unfortunately, the casting director, I don't know, I came out of there feeling like shit for a week.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I'm not even an actress. I'm just here having fun, trying. And she made me feel like shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
She was like, you're so cute. You're so cute. You're adorable. You should take acting classes. And I've been taking acting classes for 2 years. I mean, it was different because... I was nervous. It was the first time I'm actually meeting with an actual casting director for a lead. It's my first time going in for a lead.
That's a big audition,
that'll
that
do
was
it
like
too.
my
Like-
maybe my like second. That was my
Yeah.
first like real audition.
Yeah.
There was like another audition we had
Yeah.
for like a sketch thing that you and I went into.
Yeah.
but that was like my first real audition, and it was like so Hollywood. I was like, when do I start? And like, and then she was like, oh, you can start now, and like she was trying to like be nice to me, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I've never done this before. Like I was just like so cliche about it. But then I did it. She said I was cute and natural, but it was like obvious. I'm like, I've clearly never
Yeah.
done anything like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
before. I don't know.
Anyway.
But okay,
But you were okay. You guys both you got called back for it?
And I ran into Kieran. Kieran had a call. We all literally went in for the same role.
did.
So Monrock, also
Monrock
another
was there.
comedian,
Oh, just
friend of
wishing
ours
that's
who's on our
funny.
shows. So she was there. She was in the waiting room when I got there. We were all in the waiting room.
I'm
around
just
the
gonna
same time.
mention that she's hella pregnant.
She's like 7-8 months
Super
pregnant.
Yeah, so it was
she
just funny, the pregnant
she performed on
woman come
Conan
in.
pregnant, and she came like her first line was amazing. She came out and she was just like, I don't know if I want to have kids. She's like fully pregnant. It's so funny. Shout out to Monrock.
Amazing.
But so she goes in for this role, and apparently, like I don't know, the casting director was like, "Yeah, our producer went to your show in West Side at the West Side Comedy Theater and thought you all would be great to audition for this." And then she comes in and she looks at Monrock like, "How did the producer not realize you were pregnant?" I'm like, "Probably because the producer was lying that she actually came to our show, you know." But she
Anyways,
probably just saw a
thanks for the
flyer.
opportunity, guys.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but it's
Oh my
like
God.
you're clearly not. I mean, you clearly can't tell us apart, right? Like that's why you call in all of us, even the pregnant lady who's like,
mean-
"I'm not gonna get this like role."
I mean,
you know?
maybe they just saw the flyer. I don't know.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
But just don't
It was
lie.
fun. I like learned a lot. I was texting Fizza the whole day before. I was like, what are even headshots? Like I didn't understand how to print it. I was like, I had to cut this shit. Why can't it be 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11? Why can't it be a normal page size?
Yeah.
I was just like, it was my first everything. It was great.
Yeah, that's fantastic to be able to go in for something like that. Like that was your
know.
first audition. It was a
Yeah.
big
I mean,
one.
I did like the
First
sketch
audition was for a
thing.
lead. That's
Yeah.
pretty great. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first real one. But anyways, going back.
All right, back to Subhah.
So okay, can we go like you were born in Chicago or near Chicago, and then you grew up around there, and did you go to school there or?
No, I went to college in Pittsburgh.
Ooh, where? I went to Carnegie Mellon.
I went down the street, University of Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice. I would always go over there because I went to CMU for my master's, so that was like 2012 to 2014, and I was always like over there like experimenting in the Pittsburgh labs and stuff. That's so cool. When were you there?
I was there, what was I, 2017 to 2020.
Wait, what?
I graduated a year early.
2017? That was last year.
Oh, 2007.
2007.
10 years ahead of
Why did I
herself.
do that? 2007 to 2010. There
We
you go.
live in the future.
I graduated last year. That's what I meant.
She's like super young.
Oh, so you graduated
fast.
early. You hustled and like got out of there.
Yeah, I was not going to stay in Pittsburgh. Are you?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's like okay for like people who are students, but if you're a young professional, that shit is not the best. I don't know.
So did you start stand up in Pittsburgh?
No, I started in Chicago, and then I continued in Pittsburgh, and that was a nightmare because I would have to drive. Sometimes I drive like 8 hours a day just to like do stand
So
up.
you started really young. That's crazy.
Yeah, I started when I was 17.
How'd your like family feel about it?
Oh, they didn't like it at all. They took me to my first show, and then they saw it and forbade me from doing stand up. And so I would like.
Did you
love the
censor
idea.
yourself?
What?
Did you censor yourself?
Well, I wasn't saying anything crazy when I was 17, though. I was making
Yeah.
fun of my parents, but they didn't care. They were like, "That's good."
I think it's so funny when people are like, I forbid you from doing this. I'm like, that's not a real word anyone uses anymore. That's ridiculous. Okay,
But-
so you continued stand up in Pittsburgh. There's like the Improv there. What else is there?
They had a Funny Bone that I think kind of disappeared. I haven't really been keeping tabs, but like there were some bar shows and like music mics, and because there weren't a lot of comedians going to the music mics, I could do those. And like I would just like sometimes drive out to Erie, Pennsylvania. I would drive out to Ohio. I would drive anywhere I could to do shows. Like I'm surprised. It's honestly a miracle I'm not dead because like my mom.
I feel like that about all of us. All the places we've been.
She gave me my her car like a year in because she found out I'd essentially been like hitchhiking to like get to like I would be
Are you serious?
like I wanted to get back to the bar, like or get to the bar to college, and people I'd meet at the bar would be like, oh yeah, I'm driving back that way, I'll take you. Like that's how I got around a lot of
Wow.
times.
With like friends though, not
Sort of.
not on the highway.
Not
with
on the
your thumb
highway
out.
with my
Okay.
thumb out, no. But
friends
it's
or
like,
acquaintances that you met, like friends of friends at bars.
I guess I guess I do that with. I've done that with comics here. where I'm like, okay, like I just met you at this show, I'll get a ride from. And I've done that in other cities too with comics. Not the best idea, not the most trustworthy group of people.
Especially because like a lot of them were just like bar patrons. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't.
But you seem like you would have mace on you. Like,
Me?
yeah, you'd seem
No,
like.
I don't. I'm like really nonviolent. Like it's
Stop
really,
it.
it's. I know everybody's gonna hear me, but it's like it's really bad. I'm like I'm super
Talking to this
nonviolent.
microphone.
I'm super like nonviolent, and I would stop fights with my body, but I wouldn't like hit somebody. You know what I mean? Like
Why?
She'll absorb violence, but
Yeah.
it won't emanate from her.
Have you hit someone? It feels really good.
No, I've done like in my college. I haven't never like hit someone, but like in my college we like would wrestle and do all these like crazy traditions and stuff. So I can like it's a whole thing. Maybe on our next episode we'll talk about my weird college life and how it was just insane.
And how you used to beat up people.
We didn't beat each other up. We just wrestled. All right.
Okay.
was it to solve differences?
It was like
Just like
tradition.
I challenge you
It
to a
was-
wrestle.
No, it's a whole thing. I can't get into it, but it's like
Okay.
it was like a school tradition sort of thing. But so I would wrestle dudes, but I've never, and so I know I can like throw
was
my
your
weight around.
School in a bunker? Like
My school was Caltech, so kind of. There's a whole tunnel system that
They
people don't know
wrestle
about.
at Caltech?
Yeah, we're weird. Okay, I get it.
What the?
Anyway, this is a
So I
PSA for everyone. If you're driving around with random people or at all, just carry pepper spray.
I don't have pepper spray.
You
I
should
don't
get
have.
some.
I should get. But also, isn't it statistically true that like people get their weapons turned against them when they
pepper
carry
spray, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's a long distance weapon.
Oh, okay.
Like you should be using pepper spray when they can't
Should
snatch it up.
Should I get like a samurai sword too? Is that long distance and just
Really,
it's
really
more-
long one.
I do
Subhah Agarwal told me to get a gun.
It's knives.
That-
Knives
that
will
would
be
be a-
turned against you if you don't know
okay.
how to
That would
hold
be a
it.
great
What about
clip out of
throwing?
context.
What about like throwing stars?
That would be fine.
Okay, I gotta practice
So
my
wait,
aim.
Suba, who have you beat up lately?
Yeah.
Because you're saying it feels really great
Yeah,
to hit
what is-
somebody.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to
Oh,
beat the
okay.
shit out of my brother.
Oh yeah, my brother and I fought.
Younger brother or older brother?
Older. Well, I wouldn't beat the shit out of him. More like hit him and then
He would
run.
let you be.
My brother
I
and I
was
used to
such a
fight.
dick.
Would he hit you back or did he actually
He would
follow the
try,
rule?
but I would run. So that
This
was like
bitch
the
just
move.
got fast.
How much older is he?
He's like 3-4 years, between 3 and 4.
Okay.
So those were the first hit and runs you were involved in. All right. So so you grew up, you went to Pittsburgh, and then after Pittsburgh, did you move to New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what were you doing in New York?
I had a job as an actuary. Like I needed a company.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
What, is that what you majored in? Okay, cool.
And I needed a company to pay me to move out, so because I didn't have any money. So I got hired, and then I worked there for about 3 months before I quit. And then I just worked like part-time retail so I could focus on comedy.
So you did the corporate thing for a full 3 months out of college.
Yeah.
And then
She
you're
really
like, fuck
wanted-
this. I'm just going to do
I
stand-up.
literally just did it so they would pay me to move there. Like I knew I was gonna quit the entire time.
That's
and
so
like
funny.
But to be an actuary, like you have to go through all those tests and stuff.
yeah, I didn't know that. What
Oh. So did you take the test?
This bitch.
what ended up happening is I was a bioengineer.
What?
and
Me too.
I liked that stuff though. It's interesting to
Yeah.
me. But they were gonna make me take 4 years the way the labs were spaced
Yeah.
out. And I was like, no, I'm entering as a sophomore. I'm not staying in Pittsburgh for 4 years. That's ridiculous. So I switched my major overnight. My roommate was like, oh, there's tons of actuary jobs in New York. My dad's always telling me to be an actuary. So I just changed my major overnight without really looking
Were
into
you
it.
a math major?
Actuarial science. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
math with a focus on econ and statistics.
got
And
it.
so like and then like literally I think like the first week I found out about the exams and I that's how I had my first ever panic attack. It's like I got the study manual for this. It's like literally I'm not even exaggerating, maybe like half a foot thick. Like it's ridiculous.
It's hard.
And I had a full-blown panic. That's the first panic attack.
Did you know you were having a panic attack? What was that experience?
That
like?
was like, well, that's I knew what it was when it was happening, but it also made me realize what was happening on stage for the first 5 years of my stand-up career.
Dude, the same thing happened to me. Well, not like on stage, but I used to have panic attacks growing up when my parents and I would like fight and stuff,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what they were. And then I became a first responder in my college. Like I like had like a bag and everything, and I was like first on the scene for people.
Fuck is
I don't know.
She wrestles. She absorbs
The people who wrestled needed to get help. Okay, but
were you the one wrestling them and then show up as a first? Oh wait,
Would you beat the shit out of them and then fix them after? Is that what was going on?
That's how I kept them near me. No, but I did the first responding thing, and we were in this class, and we learned what panic attacks were, and it dawned on me. I was like, this whole time, my parents told me I was being dramatic, which it kind of is a little bit, but also
Panic
it's a
attacks
fucking
are
panic
dramatic.
attack. Yeah.
Yeah. It was more like my hands would go numb. And I thought
because we
I
weren't
was
breathing enough.
allergic to the mic or getting electrocuted. Like, I didn't know what was happening. So, and then I was like, I guess I just have, because I do have a metal allergy, but it would be weird that it would be so.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what the hell.
Well, kudos to you for still doing it for 5 years before realizing what it was. Jesus Christ, you really wanted it.
Eventually it went away, but I was like, what is this?
My first year of stand-up, I had to go to the bathroom like 5 times, like in the minutes before going up. So I'd be like half the time coming out of the bathroom, my hands are still wet. Not because I didn't wash them, but because I washed them. So...
Wait, so then you ended up in New York, you quit your job after 3 months, and then you just hit the comedy scene hard. Mm-hmm. And so what was that like? How many mics a night were you doing? How many shows?
I was doing as many mics as I could, which is probably 4 or 5 a night. And then it was just that for years and years and years and years.
So what are all the retail stores that you, like, what's your resume look like?
I want to see this bitch try to convince me to buy shoes.
I know. I worked for Apple. That was the only place that would hire me because I was so overqualified. Like,
That's
no one else was going to hire.
Oh, awesome.
It's kind of sad, though, because like some people at Apple had PhDs and shit. And it's just like, what happened?
They weren't doing comedy.
No.
They just were PhDs. They're like, we thought this meant literal geniuses, so we came here.
But like Apple's one of the few companies that would hire like legitimately like very highly educated people.
Yeah, I have friends from Caltech that like work there and stuff. And they were doing like theater and stuff outside.
I mean, there's some idiots. There's a large pool of idiots also working for.
So when did you quit your Apple gig and just start? When did you start making money off comedy in order to quit the retail job?
I think it was my first writing gig, working for Comedy Knockout on True TV. That was the first time I quit.
How many years in?
Probably 8 or 9.
Yo, I'm tired already.
So think about it, 8 or 9 years in New York, that's like 20 in LA. Think about it.
I don't want to think about it. Man, we almost had the same life. What if I became an actuary instead of bioengineer?
It's so boring. It's so boring.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets? Do your parents ever like tell you sometimes like, no, you should go back to being an actuary?
Because your mom gave you your card, so they forbade it, but then they knew that you were still doing it.
Well, because they knew I was going to do what I wanted no matter what. Like, if my mom had forbade me from doing comedy, I had planned to move into a women's shelter. Like, there is no way they were going to stop me if I really wanted something. And my mom knows this about me. She knows that the more she pushes me, the more I'm going to go and do it on my own.
Yeah.
And if they participate a little bit, at least they can keep tabs on me. So that's where they were at. Because, like, the bottom line is if I want something, you are not going to stop me from getting it.
Yeah.
So, like, and she knew that.
Hell yeah.
But
I think, like, I guess my relationship with my parents is the same way. Like, I just keep doing what I want, but they still have hope. I don't understand.
What's the hope, though? What do they want?
I don't know. They still have, like, ideas for, like, what I should be doing, and they have, like, advice and opinions and stuff. But I'm just, like, they know that I've rebelled against, like, everything my whole life. And, I don't know why they still try when I have my mind set on something. It's really, it's cute, I guess. I don't know. It's admirable as parents.
Yeah, mine have given up.
That's great.
I think Trump broke my father because he always like they had this idea of like respectability and like my dad's big dream for me was to run for president one day. I'm not even kidding. And then like,
that is so sweet that your dad thinks you could be president.
It was ridiculous.
My dad was trying to marry me off and didn't think I could do anything with my life.
Shit!
But you have an older brother.
Yeah.
So they just like bypassed him.
They're like, he'll be vice president.
My brother, like, it's because my mom entered us in speech competitions from a very young age, and I was like good at it. And
so you could have been president or a stand-up comedian.
Hey, it's a very similar skill set.
Yeah,
I could see Subhah doing TED Talks though.
Oh God,
like I see that happening.
But I was also like, I was a lot, I guess, quicker. Not necessarily comedically, but just with comebacks. So my dad was like, "Oh, you'd be a good politician." So he always had that.
That's
and
so
he's like,
funny.
He wants you to do debates.
That's exactly what it was. And he was like, he just had that dream and he's like, oh, you can't do this if you want to get into politics one day. He would say that to me like it was
crazy.
a real thing.
That's crazy. Like, and you weren't like interested in it at all.
Not even a little. I
That's
was like,
so
what the
funny.
hell are you talking about, dude? Like, I would never want, look at how it ages you. I would never want to be here.
Yeah. None of them do enough Botox. That's what I'm saying.
Hillary Clinton is actually 29 years old.
Oh, God.
She's younger than Chelsea.
But because like Trump got in office and he is who he is, and he's just like this big scumbag, I'm like, I told you nobody cared. Like,
So when did your dad give up? Was he disappointed that you didn't go to law school? Like, what was his deal?
they were trying the whole time. Like they would call me crying and this and that and doing whatever. Like it was bad for a really long time. And then what ended up happening is like I was also lying to them about being a virgin. So until I was 26.
Oh, wait, your parents know you're not a virgin?
Yeah.
How
My
did
parents
that
know I'm
happen?
not a virgin.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Zahra and I were raised Muslim.
Yeah,
so
maybe
we're
that's
just,
what it
Oh, we the wild Hindus over here.
we just don't
My
want to bring
mama.
shame on our family,
Yeah.
so we'll just carry it within ourselves.
Yeah.
It'll turn into, well, I don't want to say
I'll be
cancer,
a virgin
but-
forever.
My mom like
Zahra loves to party, but she's never had sex.
Just invite me to your parties.
she goes
you
to all
guys.
those closed leg parties.
I have a feeling I know why she's not invited to parties. Anyways,
Damn
but
it.
Go ahead.
it was just like I got tired of my mom like slut shaming because like I would post like the more I started doing things, the more like my voice and my face was on like the internet
Yeah.
and TV and stuff. So it became harder to hide.
Yeah.
So they would see my mom thought I was writing jokes about shit I thought I should say. You know, like I was trying to be an edgy female comic. So she didn't know, but she kept being like, take it down. You're embarrassing the family, take it down. This is embarrassing. Like my dad printed out Google images of me and circled the ones where he thought I was too slutty. And I wasn't even, there was no body in it. It was just like a seductive face. And I'm like, are you out of your goddamn mind?
That's so sweet that they cared enough to do that.
That's what my mom
you
said.
know?
It's so
That's
overbearing.
really sweet.
But the thing is, I think
I would have preferred
the
the neglect.
I think that it's over control.
the issue. I think the issue that we have with our parents is so it's either the neglect or the fact that they care so much, but their care is misguided.
It's
like
like after a certain age, it's letting your child grow up.
It's harmful at a certain point.
Yeah, it's like their intent is like they want you to be happy, they want you to be well taken care of, but they no longer in practice know how to implement that because our desires and our goals and everything is so far from what theirs
Yeah,
were.
I think they want you to be happy, but what that looks like in actuality is very different for
Yes.
the blueprint they want to shove on you or
Yeah.
me or
It's like you
us.
can hug someone, but don't do it too hard because you'll kill them. Like, that's exactly what happened. But they were like, and they were writing me. It was my birthday. They called me on my birthday, and they started complaining about a video, and they slut shamed me on my birthday, and I just snapped. I like couldn't do it anymore. And then like I just started screaming, like I'm not a virgin, like into the phone.
I've been fucking though. Did it get better after that? After they started?
I stopped talking to them, so it was like I wouldn't.
Interesting. Zahra's in that space
long,
right now.
How long did that last? How long did the no speaking?
I don't know because I ended up
Estrangement.
coming back because my dad got sick.
Oh,
So that's why like I wanted to know what was happening and what was going on with him. So I came back for that reason. And then we started talking again and it was better. But it was more of like I can't deal with the fucked up shit you say to me and it's not healthy for me to keep this around me. So I'm like I cannot talk to
I'm kind of I'm like that way too where I've like been pulling away from my family a lot and it's because of like it's hard for them to accept like my personality just like because I like on the drive down from San Francisco to LA my parents drove me down and my mom was just going through my tweets asking what they meant and I was like I can't explain to you this vagina joke like I can't do this.
But like your tweets as of late have been a little racy. Has she reached out to you about those?
Not yet.
Share a couple of those gems with us.
What did I? Okay, hold on. Let me see.
I think one was literally I get fucked. No, I'm just.
I did say I got fucked, which I never like. I recently because this guy was a dick to me. I've recently just been like fuck it, and I just like post what I feel like. What was one? The last guy I liked ended it with me because he couldn't commit, and then in parentheses to making me come. And then
Was your mom like, what does that mean?
no, she hasn't talked to me about it yet.
Come as an arrive?
I haven't.
What is that?
I haven't talked to her on the phone yet. This is the problem. Is like I talk to them so infrequently. Okay, the other one before that was a guy once told me he loves everyone and only wishes for peace in the world. Then he fucked me and blocked me, just like Buddha used to do. Super zen. So those were that one like was the first time that I talked about like getting fucked online.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is just out there now. But it was I felt like it was a good enough joke to put it out there.
And it was like one of those things where like my family always said that. They're like, okay, all the girls do it, but why do you have to be the one that talks about it? That's kind of what they said to me.
It's
and
appearance.
It was like, yeah, because I guess in the Indian community, everyone's about this sense of propriety and family value and honor and all that shit.
Everyone's about. Hassan says this in his Homecoming King, where he's like, it's all about what will people say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they have this obsession with what will people say.
I hate that. I'm completely against that mentality.
So unhealthy.
Yeah, I think it's really unhealthy. I think it leads to suppression and secrets and shame
All
and
those
all this
people
negative
aren't
shit.
happy. Like that's the
No.
thing. It's like the people
Acting
that
out.
care the most about appearance are the least happy and the least well put together.
They're miserable.
Yeah.
This is why I'm miserable and I always look great.
Bitch, you do look good though.
Thank you.
So on brand. So on brand.
Trying to figure out my brand. Apparently, it's my brand.
Yeah, I don't think you need to figure it out.
I think you got it.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, no, it's so true. It's like I feel that's I think why I love comedy so much. It feels like such a breath of fresh air because it's a place where you're rewarded for being your true self. Out like for everyone,
Yeah.
and that's like it feels so good and like it feel like this. That's why we get like this acceptance from everybody else but our families.
But that's the thing is like I kind of wanted to be that like just even sometimes I feel like I'm even like playing up. I don't have that much sex. I'm tired all the time, you know? Like but I talk about it on stage because I want to be that voice so someone can look at me and be like, "Oh, well, maybe I'm not a monster."
Take
you know
the
what I mean?
shame out of the equation.
Because it's that's the thing that bothers me too is that like all of these things that we talk about like doesn't make us like we're good people. Why does it matter what we talk about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, look, okay, how are people born? Because their parents fucked. Okay, that's very basic. Like, what are we just
my
never
mom
gonna
and
address?
dad
Why
are
is there shame in that?
virgins, so I don't know what
You were
talking
adopted,
about.
someone else fucked. They're just pure.
They don't fuck. Okay.
It's clearly going on in the subcontinent. I mean, like there's clearly an overpopulation problem.
Yeah.
So it's just
someone's
like
fucking.
it's. I think it's absurd and sick to not talk about something that's just part of life.
The the time that I talked to my parents about it was when the Me Too stuff was happening, and I wanted to post like this whole list of shit that happened with me. But part of that was like stuff that happened in college where it like wasn't consensual, but it had been before. You know what I mean? And so like I had to talk to my parents about it before posting it because I didn't want them to freak the fuck out because they didn't know anything. So then I had a conversation with my parents about how like, you know, I've had people assault me. I like had the good old college rape, but you know, like shit like that, where it's like I never talked to them about the only 2 sex conversations I had with my parents was my mom would randomly just turn to me and be like, "Well, your father and I waited till we were married," and then,
Did they?
Probably.
I
believe it.
My mom's
But they were
pretty
those
innocent.
crazy Hindus, you know?
Did they know each other before they got married?
Dude,
though?
it's a whole Bollywood story.
because it was a love marriage.
It was a love marriage. My dad's family.
Yeah, they waited. Be like, sure.
Yeah. The other sex conversation I had with my parents before the talking to them about it really was I was telling them about how I needed that shot for the HPV vaccine because I was on their insurance, and they were like, one of them was like, "Don't you need that if you're sexually active?" And I was like, well, yeah. And then the other one was like, one of them was like, "Oh yeah, well if you're sexually active, you have a lot of stuff to worry about." And the other one went, "Yeah, like AIDS and stuff," and then walked out of the room. And I was like, "This is very informative. Thank you. Can I still get the vaccine though?"
Dude, your parents seem so cool. We should have them on the podcast.
Oh my God, no.
Next time they're in town,
They'll spend the whole time just telling you what's wrong with me.
look,
That's a good one.
yeah,
I
bring
mean,
them on.
No.
I mean, everybody's parents are going to do that.
Yeah.
Are we all? If we all get our parents on, I'll try to get my parents on.
Can I hire an actor to be my dad or something?
Who are you gonna? Which Desi celebrity would you hire to play your parents?
I don't know.
Amitabh?
No, he's old. He's more like a grandfather now.
Yeah, he's like for our white listeners, he's like the Morgan Freeman of Indian
I
cinema.
heard he gets ladies though.
Yeah,
Still.
of course. Yeah.
Why
mean,
wouldn't
it
he?
makes sense.
He's Amitabh.
But like I'm talking about ladies.
But if honestly, if Amitabh Bachchan wanted to take me out to dinner and was like, "I'll put you in a Bollywood movie," I'd be like, "Okay, sure, let's do that."
On brand. On
No,
brand for
but like,
Zahra.
why not? It's a side story. And
Are you
like,
gonna take that Amitabh butt dick?
maybe. I don't know. If Jai is okay with it.
I tried to make that work and it didn't.
If him
not at
and
all.
his wife are in an open relationship, I'd think about it.
They're not. He's like definitely cheating on her.
You don't think she knows?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel bad. Okay, this is one thing that I want to talk about because it's just on my mind. Is there like, I feel like everyone in LA just like cheats and like does like horrible shit to each other. I've just seen it so much. And I feel like that's like such an entertainment
like,
world
celebrities,
thing. Yeah.
or
like even rising celebrities and like
I
just
don't
like
know. I feel like you need to be above a certain income bracket in order to be allowed to cheat on your wife. You know, like
Yeah, but
Jay-Z,
that's not a thing. That's
Jay-Z,
fucked up.
Trump,
That's
whatever.
fucked up,
brand.
though.
No.
It's so fucked
it is
up.
fucked up.
It's totally fucked up. It is totally fucked up.
It makes me just not want to date anyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, men are horrible. We've all agreed to it, admitted to it, and we're all like Cardi B's letting her dude like fuck around, you know?
Okay,
Beyonce's letting Jay-Z fuck around.
Okay, I know that.
Why is she not divorced
Okay,
with
I
him?
know that they are, but please don't bring Cardi B and Beyonce into
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, as a society, we've all accepted all the way up from like the bottom all the way to the top. You know, politics, like it's all accepted. Men will cheat, and with enough counseling, we'll get through it. You know, like
I do feel that hopeless.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I mean, you're not.
I don't know
You're
about
not
that
in a
one.
relation. You're not. I mean, if
There are plenty of guys who
Zara's
get
saying-
dumped
Wait,
and
Zara's
divorced.
saying that, and she's the only one in a relationship right now.
I'm just saying.
Zara,
like,
you trying to?
Are you giving your man the pass right now? What's happening?
I'm just saying, like, if I'm touring 300 days out of the year,
She's trying to get the pass.
well, that's
Okay.
it.
dude,
Here's the
she's
thing.
trying
There's
to-
a difference between cheating and being in an open relationship.
Yeah. And maybe like we don't know the entire story. Like I'm pretty sure Melania married Trump knowing that he's gonna fuck around, you know? Like
Well,
this-
I'm sure she does not want to fuck.
and
him.
I'm sure Beyonce
She please,
Yeah.
please fuck.
But
my
like,
I'm sure Beyonce like married Jay-Z knowing like
do you?
it's gonna happen. I don't think Beyonce is like
But that's so
you
you're
know,
just
naive.
saying. But you're saying that like we're letting it happen, but at the same time you're saying that like if you want to enter like these relationships with these men, then you have to just accept it.
or
not all
you
men
have
are like that.
you have to like put down a hard line. Like Beyonce, why didn't Beyonce
Well,
leave
like
Jay-Z?
Dave Chappelle. I don't believe Dave Chappelle has ever cheated on his wife from the sounds of it. Has he?
No
I'm just gonna step away from the mic right now.
Dave Chappelle, you're my favorite comedian.
I love Dave Chappelle.
What happens
so
outside
much.
of Ohio stays outside Ohio.
Hilarious.
It's just okay.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think
I
we're
feel
all-
very
I haven't
uncomfortable.
seen anything, so I'm gonna.
I don't
tap
know.
out. I don't know anything.
Honestly, I don't know a single man in Hollywood who's a celebrity who hasn't cheated on his wife.
It's fucking terrible.
I don't
It's
like
so
honestly. I
sad.
don't know a single one.
I was reading this like article. Okay, you Subhah's on the guest. She's a guest, and I'm just talking.
All
about
right,
her. Sorry.
Subhah,
Go ahead.
okay.
Your thoughts.
What are your thoughts on the whole cheating thing? I know it's wrong, but I'm just saying, like Beyonce, like if you felt like it was so wrong, you should have left Jay-Z. That's all I'm saying. Like you people
Well,
need
I
to
don't
leave
think
these men.
I don't know about that. I think everyone they're going to do what's right for them in that context. Like, I think people are capable of change and learning consequences. So it's like if you want to give him a good faith try and you've worked through it and forgiven, and he's truly apologetic and realized what he did was like selfish and being an asshole, and he's like truly willing to make amends. Then, I mean, if that's your decision, that's your judgment call. So I can't, from the outside in, like sit there and be like, you should have done this. Me personally, like anytime I've gotten a whiff of like, it took a while. I had to go through an abusive relationship to realize I'm not going to be treated like shit. So it's like, even the last guy I dumped, it's because he wasn't nice. Like that was it. I was like, you're not a giving or a caring person. And when I'm in a relationship, I give and I care for the person I'm with. Even if it's a casual thing, I still want them to be okay because we're spending our time together. So if I'm not getting that, or if I'm not giving it a level of respect, you're done. You're fucking done. You're out. There's not even a second thought. I don't give a shit what we have invested in each other. You're out.
Oh my god, I really needed that right now. I really needed it.
I'm done. It's like after like being, it took like being with like a living devil to get me to that point. Because like, and I feel like as messed up as it is, I think it comes from partially from an arranged marriage mentality where it's like, my parents are like, love isn't something that's there immediately. It's hard. You work towards it. You stay with someone and you fix what's wrong.
That's what my dad, every time I like ask my parents, I'm like, do you guys like love each other? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'll like ask them about how they feel about each other. And my dad will be like, we made a commitment. Sometimes.
That's kind of like.
But that's how all of them think. That's
Yeah.
like, and even in like love marriages, which my parents have, they're like, you make a commitment and you work, and it's like at some point, it's not worth it.
That's how my brain was wired, and that's what kept me with this guy who was like an alcoholic. I'm like, let's work together. Let's get you back on your feet. Let me help fix you. Like, and that's not on me. I deserve a certain amount of shit, and that's the beautiful thing. As fucked up as dating in America is, I have the freedom to leave. You don't have to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not arranged with your boyfriend.
Yeah, my parents are still together after, like, all of our parents are still together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes they like, I think they like to argue. That's their dynamic. And sometimes they'll call me and try to triangulate and get me involved.
Yo, my parents do that too.
And I'm like, look, you either choose to stay in the marriage or you look at other options meaning divorce. Like I was asking my parents, like if you're going to keep asking me about this shit, I say get divorced. They're still married.
I said that too.
But that's like, they don't call me and stick me in the middle of their business anymore.
Yeah.
I've definitely said that to my parents. I think with any arranged marriage, you're not. I don't think there's a thing where you're meant to be with each other in any marriage.
In any relationship.
In any marriage, you have ups and downs and whatever. In any committed relationship, that's why I'm saying like, yeah, like everybody needs to take a stance. Like this is fucked up. You're treating me in a very shitty way. You're not being faithful. I'm leaving. But not enough women are doing that. No one's being like Subhah and like saying, okay, I'm getting out of this. Yeah, like enough people are doing that.
Eventually.
People do.
But
it's really hard when you have kids and you're married.
Of
Like
course.
it's a different thing.
Of course.
Than like,
So then that's why I think cheating has just become an accepted part of life that men get away with.
I've left many men.
I was gonna say
absolutely.
there are consequences to their behavior, and like women do leave men. I think
Of course they do.
But
But
I feel like there's so many more women that they just keep going, and it's like this cycle of emotional. It's a cycle of emotional abuse.
Powerful
and
men
It
can get
sucks.
away with that.
Yeah, but it sucks that they do because it's like they don't see women as individuals. They just see them as like this next like rotation to go through.
Well, here's the thing. I want to challenge all females. Like, just be better about yourself and be more secure with who you are. Because the problem is there are always naive, insecure women out there who will, like, be with these men for whatever reason. Like, there will always be a Melania out there.
I just
you know
feel
what I mean?
bad that it's on the women. Like I like that fucking sucks.
Unfortunately,
that men don't want to be better people.
Men are horrible people.
I mean, you can't change anyone else.
Yeah.
Someone has to change
I mean, there
themselves, so
are good guys out there who are
know a
like,
few.
What are their numbers? Put their numbers where your
like-
mouth is.
Men are great until that you try to date them.
well, no, but I know I've seen guys who like genuinely love their wives, and I couldn't in a million years see them cheating. Like people I know, like very close and have worked with very intimately, and know like outside of work, and I'm like, okay, this is a good dude. And then I've met dudes who are with their wives, and I'm like, you would cheat on her in a heartbeat. Like I've seen both ends of the spectrum, and it's like, not all men are commitment phobic.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very individual to individual thing. And it's I think relationships are changing in general, but the fact that everyone's had to be put into this single monogamy like category when not everyone is built that way has also led to a lot of fucked up shit.
But I also think that like women aren't like monogamy is built to like for a lot of people it makes like women feel safer, and so like not being monogamous is harder for women. I think like it's easier for them to get access to dick, but that dick could be dirty. That dick could be dangerous. That dick, you know, like there's all these other risks that we're exposed to, which is why monogamy is like safer and easier for a lot of women, because it's like you can't like out in the real world when you're not like when your circle of friends or whatever, it's like harder to vet people.
But do you think that could be our programming? Because look,
No, I'm talking about like physical like safety. I'm talking about like going out and meeting somebody new. There's a larger risk for women than there are for men. STDs affect us. STIs affect us differently, right? We're more at risk for that. We're more with pregnancy. Like there are all these like physical, practical risks that make relationships that aren't monogamous like harder for us. So that's why like inherently it's easier for us to be in a monogamous relationship just because of all these dangers.
I mean, wouldn't the dangers besides pregnancy be the same for men though?
Also, just like murder and violence.
Rape and murder
like,
and assault and stuff. That's like
Are
way
you talking about? Okay, I thought you were talking about diseases.
Yeah, diseases. No, diseases are women are more susceptible to STIs and stuff, and we suffer higher consequences.
Women are also susceptible to rumors, you know? Like, rumors don't really spread about guys. Guys, like, it's still that bad, you know? And we know this in the comedy community, too. If you, like, sleep with a few comics, everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Whereas comics will fuck around with whoever the hell they want. Groupies, other female
Male comics.
They could be fucking other male comics, whatever, you know? But, yeah, it's just, like... being a woman in general, I'm just saying it's just harder, and we have to like push ourselves in every possible way because we've all collectively as society have agreed men are scum and
We're
they
just letting it
cheat
happen.
and they, you know, like, so for women, stop letting this bullshit happen is what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
right.
I'm sorry. I just have to get that out there.
Zahra solves everything.
No, I'm not solving anything. I'm just saying
what's
be
the
better.
solution? Just stop.
My
Well, it's
solution
like-
is if a guy
Why
cheats on you and you're in a monogamous relationship, leave.
Yo, but
Beyonce.
they keep fucking.
I'm just mad at Beyonce. Sorry.
Why are you mad at Beyonce?
Because she should have left Jay-Z.
But they got a
there
couple
are-
fire albums out of it though.
There are
Sure,
plenty
whatever.
of women that I don't know what the statistics are, but women still cheat on men too. Like we're also like that's what the whole Justin Timberlake Cry Me a River shit was about. Was about Britney blowing everybody behind his back. Like that shit happens on the other end of the spectrum too. You know, like I just I don't know. I just want to say men are scum. It's like, nah, they're just people, and hold them to, if society and women and other men hold themselves, if everyone just holds them to the standard, then they'll rise to the occasion and start acting better. Because it's not like they're these rabid dogs running around. It's like, no, they're people and they can learn to behave appropriately.
I think we're kind of saying
know?
the same thing. I'm just taking a stronger stance that men are horrible people. I mean, I say this the week that Bill Cosby got convicted. Finally, you know, like it's just an overwhelming amount of evidence at how horrible men are versus women. That's all I'm saying. So just be stronger, women. Just be, you know. Sorry.
I do think that like I'm kind of tired of like hating. I'm tired of hating men and white people. Like I'm tired that it's like this thing that's like constant. Like people make jokes about it, whatever. It's like boring. It's like a boring thing to like hate or whatever. But it is like something that you have a really great joke about it. How like you're eating cereal and like 10 years after an incident, and then you remember like this racist thing that happened like forever ago.
yeah.
That I love that joke because
What's
I really
the joke? Tell us.
Yeah.
I was, oh God, no.
or don't.
We're
You
like
don't have
your
to.
Uber driver now. Just tell us a joke.
Are you a comedian? Tell me a joke.
But that's like, but she was talking about how like you become more aware as you like get older and you realize like all the shit that's happened to you in the past. And I think that's what's happening right now with me. And I'm just like realizing all this shit that happened with men and with like, you know, like other people and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm kind of like tired of it. I'm tired of like getting mad about this stuff. Like I don't want to be mad
There's
at
a lot to be mad
whole
about.
gender.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you happy about, Subhah? Let's talk about that. Let's just try to make this positive. What makes
am
you happy?
What's your favorite thing that happened today?
What's my favorite thing that happened today? Oh, well, this is going to be real sad.
Besides this podcast.
This is dorky, but I'm really happy I bleached my whole bathroom. Like, it just gives me a sense of peace.
Clean.
I feel good about that. Like that's
I
a
do.
clean bathroom is like
It makes me
everything.
feel
Clean
like
bathroom, clean kitchen.
my face is on fire from all the bleached and enclosed space, but I feel
Your
like
complexion looks great, by the way. So that bleach
So fair and lovely over
I was
there.
gonna go there, but I don't want to. Too real.
That's so funny. So are you like a clean freak a little bit?
if I had the time to be, I would probably be cleaning everything all the time. But I'm a clean person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with an OCD mother? Because I did.
Me too.
Are all moms like this?
No, my mom legit has like OCD.
Yeah,
Like,
mine too.
Yeah, she like taps things and stuff.
But I think it all stems from the same discomfort and trying to find control and
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I mean,
addiction.
it's
OCD,
also like it's also an
acting
actual neurological disorder.
Okay, scientist.
yeah, but I mean, it's all that's treatable. Like that's all you can retrain your brain to.
I mean,
respond
there's-
to stuff where you can become dependent on external fixes.
Yeah, there's medication that you can take, but it's like a legitimate like disorder with like the basal ganglia. Anyways,
It wasn't.
yeah, but like I was just, like, what do you mean by like retrain your brain?
Retraining your brain, like just, I mean, like with all addiction or OCD or whatever, it's sort of a filling of a void. So yeah, it could be just.
I just look at it as like more physical thing. We can talk about this.
The scientist is smirking at you a little
I'm not
bit.
smirking. I'm just saying like
I think emotional health is neglected and not acknowledged enough in this society.
agreed.
And I think that affects every aspect of her life. And I think all of that, the physical manifestation of that is the last step. That's like your body saying, like, you're fucked. You need to change something. So
I think it can be that, and then it can also be like there's something like there's a chemical imbalance. Like it's
Yeah.
a mix.
I mean, look, I have both. because
Yeah.
everyone in my family is on something for the chemical treatment. But the thing is, I don't know what it's like to live without that because I've been on this since I was 15. That's more than half of my life.
Yeah.
So if I had the option to cope with this in a different way, I don't know if I could. Do I need that chemical stuff? Do I have an imbalance or a predisposition? Sure. But like, can I cope with it in other ways that don't involve chemistry? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of different like therapeutic or coping skills, and some people need medication and some don't.
Yeah. Maybe we should have a psychiatrist on here sometime.
No, I would absolutely
really
love.
fun.
I can try to get one of my neuro professors to come on and talk about stuff like that. But it would be so dope because I think part of the reason I hesitate when you said that was because it bothers me, especially out in LA, when people are like, you need to do the yoga thing or like the crystals or something. When it's like, I don't want to blame someone for like a physical condition that nobody can see, So it is true that we need to address mental health issues and address like emotional conditions and stuff, or like things that affect your emotions a lot more. But it's also like people shouldn't be, I know that like medication isn't perfect and like people have different cocktails of it. They like need to try it. It's all these different things. Like with therapy, you have to like try all these different therapists to see if it works. But it's like, I don't want people to think that it's just something they can solve with like a juice cleanse. You know what I mean? For some people, maybe that'll like make them
that's
happy.
simplistic. But I think a lot of this stuff to change, it's so deep rooted in us. It's a lifestyle change. It's a perspective change.
Accepting that help and that and reaching out. Yeah, I agree.
So, I've looked just all the modes of sort of treatment I've experienced.
Scream into the abyss.
Look, screaming into the abyss to weed, to pills, to to yoga, just anything. I'm just trying to cope. I'm just trying to cope here.
Yeah. So Subhah, have you been treating your meltdowns in LA?
She goes back to New York.
Besides bleaching your apartment.
Yo, if you want to come bleach my bathroom anytime, I just want to help you get you centered. I just want to make sure you're okay.
This is strictly for your benefit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot of, I should go back to therapy at some point, but it's a lot of like introspection and just stuff like that. Just realizing things aren't that big of a deal, talking to friends and family normally,
You still have friends and family after moving here?
Yes.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
That's an LA success. That's that
great.
story.
Yeah, you made it.
Okay. What do we wrap up with? We talk about who's your favorite Desi celebrity?
It's my favorite. This is gonna be bad, but she's the only one who like really inspired me as of course, like Amitabh Bachchan and all that like I had in Aishwarya Rai growing up, but it's not like I was really that into Bollywood.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm forgetting her name, which is why I feel bad about this. But the girl who played the lead in Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
Opposite Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley, we all remember.
That's so sad. She was also on ER, right? Parminda Nagra.
Parminda Nagra. I should know that, but she's like,
yeah, Parminda Nagra.
Okay, she was. I loved Bend It Like Beckham because it ended up becoming my life with comedy, sort of like where I also lied about doing stand up and stuff and like snuck out and like I just loved watching that movie so much because
Our parents thought we were all lesbians at some point. That's relatable.
Still think I'm lesbian.
I was about to say because if they're either going to believe that I'm a lesbian or a virgin, and what's more probable,
All right, Subhah, where can our fans and friends find you?
Twitter at Subhah, Subhah, and on Instagram at Subhaha, Subhaha. I'm sorry.
And our social media is at Facial Recognition Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, and on Twitter it's at Facial Rec Show or Facial Rec Comedy. So FACIALRECCOMEDY. And then mine is Pallavi Gunalan, PALLAVIGUNALAN. That's my website, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Facebook.
Oh, Fizza is at Fizza Dasani, FIZAADOSANI on all platforms.
And Zahra Ali Live. Zahra is ZAHRA Ali Live. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, Subhah.
That's it.